Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and welcome to another presentation of our 1983 Strat Seaver replay. And what I'm doing right here is pulling up Bob Welch is on the mound for the Dodgers versus Tom Terrific. And what does it say about Bob Welch? It says he's got a fastball, a cut fastball, a curve, and a change. Well-developed forkball in 1988. So that's what it says about Bob Welch in terms of his the different pitches that he uses. And this book I picked up called Naylor James Guide to Pitchers. It goes, I believe, to 2004. I don't know if they have a more modern version. So we are joining the action in the top of the fourth. Los Angeles is at Shea Stadium, beautiful downtown Queens, New York. Flushing, Queens. You take the L train and you can be here in a matter of minutes. Willets Point Station, Shea Stadium stop. And Tom Seaver's on the mound for the Mets. He will be facing the top of the order, Sachs, second baseman, Russell, the shortstop, and Dusty Baker in left field. Batting fourth is Pedro Guerrero, the third baseman, Landro in center field. Batting fifth, batting sixth is Marshall, the right fielder. Batting seventh is Greg Brock, the first baseman. Jack Fimple, the catcher, batting eighth. And Bob Welch batting ninth, the pitcher. Here we go, top of the fourth, 2-0 Mets. And here's the roll. Hope everybody's doing well out there. And that's going to be a 5, so it's off Seaver, and he's a righty, so it's a 5-9er, and that's Sky to center field. Out there is Mookie Wilson. He drifts over and settles under, makes the catch for 1 away. Next is Bill Russell. Bill Russell started out as an outfielder. Took a while for him to become a shortstop, so that tells me that he must have been an outstanding athlete. It's going to be a 5-6 again against another righty, and this is a fly ball left field towards the line, and Foster gets there for the out, so that's 2 away now. And the fans are rowdy here at Shea Stadium, as you can tell. Dusty Baker with 2 outs in the top of the fourth. There's the pitch to Dusty. It's a 3-11, and that is a strikeout. So Seaver, with a 4-seam fastball, blows it by Dusty Baker, and that retires the side. Leading it off for the Mets is going to be Oquendo. The Met lineup, we're going to see Oquendo, Ortiz is on deck, and in the hole is Tom Seaver. Leading off will be Wilson, the center fielder, Brooks batting second, Hernandez, the first baseman, batting third. Cleanup is Foster, fifth is Strawberry, the right fielder, sixth is Giles, and now we're on the seventh batter, which is Jose Oquendo. Oquendo today is 1 for 1 and scored a run. And here's the pitch from Bob Welch. It's going to be off Welch's card, and that's a strikeout. So he gets Oquendo on a curveball. Next is Ortiz. And that is a 3-8 off of Ortiz's card, and that's ripped to short. Russell scoops it. Throw to first, and in time, 2 down. 2-0 Mets here in the bottom of the fourth. Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver's got a 2-run single in this game, 1-4. And that is a strikeout, and that retires the side. Seaver swings and misses. And we go to the top of the fifth inning. Seaver's going to be facing the middle of the order, Guerrero, Landreau, and Marshall. And Guerrero, Landreau, and Marshall, we got some really close stats. I mean, Stratomatic is, undoubtedly one of the games that is extremely accurate. Not that other games are not accurate, but Strat has been proven to be accurate. We know that about Strat. I mean, there's no doubt that it's accurate. 4-3. That's going to be against a righty, and that is a catcher X result. And that's an E14, so we're going to have to look that up. That's on this other chart here. E14, 12, 16, 17, and we got a 9, so that's not going to be there. Now we're going to roll a 20. He's a 3 or 4 catcher. He's a 4 catcher, and that's an 8, and that's a PP, which means, not that I have to go to the bathroom, but it's basically a pop-up. A pop-up in foul territory. Ortiz flips his mask away, waits for it near the stands, and makes the catch. So that's 1 away. So Guerrero pops up, and next is Landreau. Landreau is 0 for 1 today. Kenny Landreau bats from the left side. And that's going to be a 3-9er, and that's line and caught by Giles. Giles stabs at it for out number 2. Marshall, 2 outs. And it's a 5. And a 5 is a ground ball, second base. Giles charges it over to first, and in time that retires the side. We go to bottom of the 5th. 2-0 Mets. Welch doesn't go to his point of weakness until the 7th inning. Mookie Wilson is leading us off. He's 0 for 2 today. And that's going to be a 6. He's batting from the left side. A 6 and a 7 is a strikeout, so Wilson strikes out. Next is Brooks. That's a 1-5, and that is ground to the third. Guerrero, throw to first, and in time. So it's a K for Wilson, and then a ground out for Brooks, and that's 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 2-0 Mets. Seaver is going for his 11th win of the season. He's 10-9. In actuality, he was 9-14. Keith Hernandez with nobody on and 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that's a 5-7, and that is a swing and a miss, and Welch gets Hernandez to end the inning, and we go to the top of the 6th. Top of the 6th, the bottom of the order, Brock, Fimple, and Welch. Using Stratomatic partially advanced, using the old retro cards from the early 80s. Beautiful cards, beautiful font, easy to read. Blue on one side, black on the other. Greg Brock. Here's the pitch from Seaver. And that is off of Seaver's card against a lefty, a 5-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. He's an 8 in center field. We're going to have to roll for that. Let's see what we get there. An 8 in center field. We roll a 14. And let's see if he gets to it or it drops in for a hit. He is a 2, so he does get to most balls, and he will get to this one. So Wilson, a little flare, a little blooper to left center field, and Wilson races to it and makes the catch. 1 up and 1 down for Tom Terrific. Jack Fimple, right-handed hitter. And that is a 2-8, and that's a strikeout. So Seaver gets him on a fastball. And it's Bob Welch here in the top of the 6th. We're going to let the pitcher bat. It's only a 2-0 game, and it's a 6-6. Welch is a right-handed hitter, and that is a ground ball shortstop X, a 34. And that's a 13, 34-13, and that is bobbled by by Okendo, and a 6. He's a 2-6, and Welch is safe at first with 2 outs. Okendo's going to pick up an error on that. Bobbled the ball through first, not in time. So Welch is on at first base, and with 2 outs, it's going to be Steve Sachs. Here's the pitch to Sachs. He's batting from the right side. So 1-5, and that is ball 4. So Sachs walks. This pushes Welch to second base. So now the tying runs are on base, and the go-ahead run is at the plate. And Bill Russell doesn't have much power, I don't believe. Just guessing. Now, he only hit 1 home run. Here's a pitch from Seaver. It's going to be off Seaver's card, and that's going to be a 7, and that is ball 4. So back-to-back. An error with 2 outs, an error, and back-to-back walks have lowered the bases here for Tom Terrific. So the Mets are in a little bit of a pickle here with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the top of the 6th. They're leading 2-0, and it's Dusty Baker. Baker hit 15 home runs and 530 at-bats, approximately, I'd say, 600 plate appearances. Not a big power hitter, but has some pop. And here's the pitch from Seaver. And that's a 2-5. That's going to be off Dusty Baker's card, and that is grounded hard up the middle. Okendo after it. He gets there, flips to Giles, and that ends the inning. Be a fielder's choice. 6-4. And that's going to retire the side. All right, it's 2-0. We're at the bottom of the 6th. Bob Welch is going to be facing George Foster, Darryl Strawberry, and Brian Giles. Hey there, RJL. Let's go Mets. Go Thomas Seaver. 6. That's going to be off Bob Welch's card, a 6-9er, and that is a deep fly to center field. Landreau back near the track and makes the catch. He hauls it in near the warning track, just a couple of steps from the warning track. So Foster gave it a ride. Let me double check that. For some reason, I had Strawberry's card out. And that is, well, but it doesn't matter because it was off the pitcher. So Foster gave it a ride to center field. Did not carry. It's 2-0 Mets. And here comes the 21-year-old rookie sensation, Darryl Strawberry. Let's look at how Darryl is doing in our replay so far. We are towards the end of August. Darryl joined us in May. He's got 13 home runs in the replay. Had 26 in reality. Still has another, I'd say, month and a half. He still has time to get his home run total up to 20, at least 20. Batted 257, batted 235. Still has 100 plate appearances to go. All right, here goes Darryl Strawberry. And that's a 1-4 against a righty, and that is a fly to deep right field. And Marshall backing up on the track and makes the catch. Wynn kept that in the ballpark. So deep fly ball for Strawberry, and now it's Brian Giles. Punch and Judy hitter Brian Giles. 5-8, that's going to be off Welch. And that is ground to short, but this is a potential bobble error opportunity. And that is a 10. It's a 31 and a 10. And now we're going to roll. He's also a 4, which is not very good. That doesn't have good range, but he does get to this one and throws it over to first in time, and that retires the side. Pedro Guerrero, I don't know if you remember him. Big power hitting outfielder for the LA Dodgers. Pedro Guerrero, actually third baseman, excuse me. And here's a pitch from Seaver. A 6 and a 6, and that's going to be a ground ball, shortstop X. Oquendo's ton of errors, and that's a 10, but no error here. Let's see if he gets to it. Oquendo's a pretty decent range. He will get to it, and scoops it, throws on the run, and gets Guerrero. One away. 2-0 Mets. We are in the top of the 7th. Tom Seaver still in the ball game. See if we can get him to 8. Landro, that's going to be off Seaver, and he is a lefty, so it's a 5-8. That's popped up, middle of the infield. It's between Giles and Oquendo. Giles calls him off, makes the catch. 2 down. Brian Giles plays 1 season with the Mets, which is unusual because he's got a decent defensive rating, plus he batted about 250, so you'd think that he would play a little bit, he would have stuck around a little bit longer to see if they could develop at least his hitting. I mean, he was a second baseman at a time, early 80s, when really second basemen weren't expected to be power hitters. As long as they could hold their own defensively, they were good to go. It's going to be off Thomas Seaver, a 6-6 versus a righty, and that is, again, another potential error on the shortstop, Oquendo. And this is a 5, so this is going to be an unusual play. Let's see what we get on a 2 and a 20, and that's a 1. It's going to be a ground ball to short. No rare play. Over to first, and that retires the side. So 3 up and 3 down for Tom Terrific in the top of the 7th. It's going to be Oquendo leading it off for the Mets against Bob Welch. Both starting pitchers are still in there. Love that. Love that about the older eras, the forgotten era, the 80s, and then also the 70s. Jose Oquendo, who's 1 for 2 and scored a run today. Here's the pitch from Welch, and that is off Oquendo, a 3-12, and that's lined and caught by the shortstop, third baseman, excuse me. Line down the line, and right there is Guerrero to pick it. L5 if you're scoring at home. Here comes Junior Ortiz. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. That's off the pitcher, a 4-9er, and that is a line shot. Will it get past the second baseman? No, sacks right there. Went airborne for that. L4. So great defense here for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the 7th inning. It's going to be a 3-9. The Mets are up 2-0. It's going to be a 3-9. That's off of Seaver. And that is grounded to the first baseman. Brock scoops it, races Seaver to the bag, beats him there, and that retires the side. All right. Tom Seaver takes the mound here in the top of the 8th inning. Greg Brock leading it off. Let's see what happens. A 1-11. And that's going to be grounded to third. Brooks waits back, now charges. Scoops, throws on the run, and in time. 1 away. 5-3. Fimple's up. And that is a 4-6. And a 4-6 is grounded to second base. Maybe a potential for an error. He's E20, throwing a 4-13-17. We get a 5. And with nobody on, 13, and he is a 2, and that is a 1. It's grounded to second. Over to first, and in time for out number 2. And here comes Bob Welch, and it looks like Welch is going to get called back. And we're going to see a pinch hitter. Going to look at our roster. That's a big advantage of using a PC. You have the actual roster for that day, and I don't have to, guess at it or do lots of additional research. It makes my gameplay, much more efficient. So it tells me I have Yeager, Thomas, Monday. It tells me if they're righty or lefties, and so on. And for pitching, it tells me if guys are tired or not. That's huge as well. So I don't use a guy who's been used the last 3 games. So we're going to bring up a lefty. We got Rick Monday. We got Landestoy. I'm going to bring in Landestoy. I like bringing guys that are a little bit more obscure just to get them in the game because they don't get a lot of play. Rick Monday is a starter for many years on different teams. He's in my 71 replay. He was with the A's. So Rafael Landeskog is going to come in to pinch hit for Welch. Let's see who's in the bullpen for the Dodgers. It's going to be a lefty is going to be Howe, and a righty is going to be, I believe, Nienfuhr. I believe he's not a starter, but I don't want to look through the cards right now. But I think those are the players in the bullpen warming up, a righty and a lefty. Here's Landeskog with 2 outs. And it's going to be off Seaver's card. He's a switch hitter batting lefty, so that's going to be a 5 and a 6, and that's fly ball. Center field on the run is Wilson, and he tracks it down for out number 3. And that, my friends, is the 3rd out. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Mets are up 2-0. New pitcher. Let's see who the Mets are bringing up, and then I'll decide who the pitcher is going to be. Mets are bringing up Brooks, a lefty, and a righty. So 2 righties. So we're going to bring in, if Beckwith is a righty. Oh, no, Nienfuhr, I said right. And he is a righty, and he is relief. Perfect. It's exactly what we wanted. So Welch is out of there. He went 7. 7 complete for Welch. Gave up 2 runs on 4 hits. Nienfuhr against Huey Brooks. Hopefully he'll finish out the game. We don't have to make any more changes. Keep it nice and simple and moving forward. It's going to be Mookie Wilson leading it off. Switch hitter. Here's the pitch, and that's versus a righty. It's a 3-8, and that is a strikeout. So Wilson chases a ball in the dirt and swings and misses. One away. Heads back to the dugout dejectedly, trying to cut down on his strikeouts. This is a 6 versus a righty, and 11 is a fly ball left field X. He's an E6 out there. And that is a 12 on an E6. No error. Let's see if he can run it down. He is a 2. Dusty Baker is a 2, so he's got good range. And that ball is hit, driven in the gap, and Baker runs it down. Good jump on that ball. Read it perfectly off the bat. And that's 2 down, so Brooks drives one, but Baker runs it down. And now it's Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez is 1 for 3 for today. Here's a pitch, and that is a 4. It's going to be off Nienfuhr. A 4-8, and that's lined and caught by shortstop. Nice leap by Russell to take a hit away from Hernandez. And that, my friends, will retire the side. We go to the top of the 9th, last licks. And Seaver's going for a complete game here. Got a 1-hitter going. Tom Terrific. A couple of games ago, he had a 1-hitter into the 9th, and then gave up 3 hits. Ended up with a 4-hitter, and I believe he was replaced. Steve Sachs leading us off. Steve Sachs for the day is 0 for 2 with a walk. Here's a pitch from Terrific. Before we do that, let's look and see if we can make a defensive change. So let's not look at the die roll just yet. Let's go to Bradley. Put Bradley out in left field, replacing Foster. And that's really all we got in terms of defensively. We used to have a guy named Jorgensen who's a really top-quality first baseman. But since we got Hernandez, we didn't need him, and we traded him. So Bradley's out in left field. See what happens. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be off of Bradley's card. A 3-7 off a righty, and that is a potential line out, lined and caught by the shortstop, Okendo. A ball that just hung up there, and he caught it about a foot off the ground. 1 away. L6 if you're scoring at home. And I know you must be. What's that about? I think I'll organize some reason I will listen. Organize another season. All right. Tom Seaver versus Bill Russell. 1 out. Top of the 9th. Mets are up 2-0. So Tom Terrific pitching masterfully. living up to his terrific name, the franchise. He's back in New York. Should have never left if it wasn't for the evil Donald Grant. He's he is a real villain for sure in the Seaver Midnight Massacre fiasco of 1977. Seaver just did not embrace Seaver for some reason. The guy was just a moron. Bill Russell, 1 out. Here's a pitch from Thomas. Terrific. George Thomas Seaver. That's a 2-5. So that's going to be off Russell, and that is a fly ball left field. And Bradley settles under it. 2-away. So Seaver's 1 out away from a complete game one-hitter here. A one-hit shutout. Dusty Baker. Here it is. And that's a 1-4. And that is ground ball third base. Brooks. Long throw to first and gets Baker by half a step. Ball game over. The Mets win it by a score of 2-0. What an outing by Tom Terrific. Holy smokes. All right, and Tom Terrific picks up his 11th win of the season. He's 11-9. He went the complete 9 innings, lowered his ERA to 2.98. It was actually 3.55. Anybody outstanding for the Mets? Tom Seaver drove in both runs for himself with a bases-loaded single. That was in the 2nd inning. Bob Welch takes the loss. He falls to 9-8. His ERA is 3.19. And that's about it. The one hit was by Guerrero. And that's all she wrote, my friends. We're going to end the game. We're going to move to the next game. It keeps the schedule for me. And then all I have to do is click. Like, I'm going to play a couple of days till I get to his next. What am I doing? I see what I did. Okay. Computer, play ball. Let's see, options. Autoplay. And trying to play the next game, autoplay. Let me close this game. Discard, say discard, because I haven't started that game. And now I'm going to make it an automatic. I had it as manual. I got to change that. All right, there it goes. So now it plays a few games for me till I get to my starter's next start. And then I can pick up Seaver's next game, and then I'm going to just set it up. We're almost to September. I think I'm 1 start away from September, which is where I want to be. And then I'll have about 5 more starts. Then I'll take a break, and I'll play a couple other games. And then what I'm going to do is play a couple of other games, and I'm going to get to a payoff pitch. I'm going to get to a payoff pitch replay of Seaver, and then I'm going to compare and contrast the APA replay, the Strat replay, and the payoff pitch. The big 3. The big guns. I'm going to compare and contrast the big guns. See how they did. See how they fared. So I think that's going to be scientific. It's going to be interesting to look at and to analyze. I think it'll be good fodder for discussion. What's the Mets record? Hold on a second. Let me check that out. That's a good question. Let me check that out. I look at the statistics. It says league stats. All right, the Mets are 44-90. 44-90. In actuality, they were 56-78. And in my last replay, the Mets lost over 100 games easily. So when you replay them, they're much worse than they were in actuality. I don't remember them losing 100 games in '83. So they're 44-90, whereas the best team, the Pirates actually won the division that year. They were 84-78. The Pirates are 74-60. They're 4 games better than they were. The team that's much better than they were are the Chicago Cubs. They're 72-63. In reality, they were 61-74. So they're 10 games over 500, when in actuality they were 13 games below 500. The Phillies are about the same. The Cardinals about the same. The Expos about the same. The Mets are about 10, 12 games worse than they actually were. On the other side, the Braves are 10 games better than they actually were. The Astros are about the same. The Angels are 9 games worse than they actually were. Giants about the same. Cincinnati about the same. And San Diego about the same. So this is the sort of thing that you're going to get. Yeah. Everything is close. The only thing that's different, SOM is a little bit closer in the ERA. And, well, that I could have predicted, because APA is not about pitching. APA is just about hitting. But what APA does get correct are the walks and the strikeouts. They get pretty close to reality. What they don't get close to a lot of times is the ERA, because they only have 4 grades, whereas Stratomatic, it can get a lot of closer because it's got many more results on their cards. Because like 2 players, you're talking about, you're talking about 6 lines of possible results with a 20 factored in, with a 20-sided die factored in, right? So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 33, 66. And then if you take that D20 and factor in all the other times, you can have a lot of results. Whereas with APA doesn't have that many results on a card. It has, 11 to 16, and then it has 21 to 26, and so on and so forth. Then it has 31 to 36, and then 41 to 46, and like that. Has only 36 results, I believe, 6 times 6. But this has many more results. This has, I think, 108 results if you calculate it all. Has up to 108 results. So they have and plus they have lefty-righty splits, which APA doesn't have. So they can kind of, they're able to synchronize, results and ERA and stuff like that much closer. So right now, Seaver is obviously not exact, but he's about 50 points off, whereas APA was, I believe, I have the stats there. I think they were 80 points off. Let me look. Yeah, APA was not bad. APA was 65 points off. I predict that these guys should be closer, but I may be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last. So anyway, this is CP Cards and Dice. Yeah, everything else like Seaver's pitching, Seaver's strikeouts, Seaver's walks, Seaver's hits, all that is right on the money. Almost identical. So it's really good. I mean, it's a good system. But ERA is hard to match, guys. It doesn't matter what game you play, ERA is almost impossible to match, simply because the dice, and there's other factors involved. There's where was the ball hit when the bases were loaded? Was it hit to the best fielder? Was it hit to the worst fielder? You're never going to reproduce it exactly the way it was in the game. So ERA and 1-loss record is 2 things that I don't see ever being able. You can never reproduce it. Sometimes you get really close, but overall, no matter what game you play, and I've replayed with all of them, you're never going to get those 2 things to match. Simply because there are too many factors in a 1-loss record, right? Too many factors. I do. Yes, I do. Yes, Robert. So APA Master Game has 30 pitching grades. It goes from 1 to 30. But then you have that same thing in the Merino boards. The Merino boards, is the cousin of the APA Master Game. It simplified the Master Game. Master game, you're going to have a handful. Guys, you know, I've suffered PTSD from the master game. I just won't look at it because as a kid, I ordered it 3 times and I looked at it every time. I was pumped up and I said, this time I'm going to figure it out. And I looked at it and I said, holy smokes. Then as an adult, I said, do I really want to do this for a game like APA? Not really, especially with the modern games that you have now that incorporate really advanced metrics into a very fluid, very playable game where you just roll and you get all these things factored in. You know, particularly with inside pitch, which is, you know, genius, and it really is in depth. It's like going to a ball game. I mean, there's so many details in inside pitch that it's pretty amazing, and it plays very easily. You're going to see that because I'm going to play a series with the 76 Yankees. I have a 76 Yankee replay going, and I'm going to play inside pitch for 3 games, and you'll see how quickly it goes. It does require extra die rolls because you're looking at extra depth. But the die rolls are easily understood and they're very simplified. And you're going to see how quickly it plays. So anyway, that's the story. This is CP Cards and Dice. Hope you enjoyed the outcome. Tom Terrific with a 1-hit shutout of the Dodgers. And now we're moving to the next game. And the next game, we're going to see when it's going to be played on. Is it almost lunchtime? Not yet, but get in there. Oh, wait a second. I'm in the totally wrong place. American National League. Okay, there. It is Saturday, September 1983. It's going to be Tom Terrific versus Tim Lawler. San Diego Padres, Gwynn batting third. All right, guys, take care. CP Cards and Dice. Keep rolling.